After sitting back for a sec and thinking to myself, it finally clicked. The shows that reminded me of the amazing digital circus were The Hollow and Danganronpa. So you're probably wondering, what do a colorful digital circus, a mystery puzzle world, and a killing game run by a stuffed bear have in common? Well, it's more than you think. Despite having different tones and formats, the three explore psychological imprisonment, identity erosion, and systems that treat human beings like pieces in a game. The world is artificial. Digital circus, a literal digital simulation. The Hollow, a simulated environment designed as a test. And Danganronpa, a lockdown academy engineered as a despair experiment. These aren't natural disasters. They are designed systems. And that's important because it shifts the horror from the world is dangerous to the world was built to control you. In both the digital circus and Danganronpa, authority is cartoonish. Kane, the digital circus, and Monokuma, Danganronpa, they are cheerful, colorful, and even playful, but also they're omnipotent, manipulative, detached from suffering. Contrast that with The Hollow, where the controller is less visible but still system driven. The argument to be had, though, is that the scariest thing isn't a monster. It's a smiling host that treats trauma as entertainment. Identity under erasure. This is where The Hollow connects strongest. In The Hollow, characters wake up without memories. Identity must be rediscovered. In the digital circus, avatars replace physical selves. Names are altered. Sanity erodes. In Danganronpa, students are stripped of normalcy. They're reduced to ultimates, roles, not people. All three ask, if your memories, bodies, or social roles are taken away, who are you? This taps into existential horror, not just survival horror. Bright colors, dark themes. All three weaponize aesthetic contrast. The digital circus uses saturated colors, cartoon physics, and even absurd humor. Danganronpa uses neon pink blood, stylized executions, and even over-the-top personalities, while The Hollow is clean with animated adventure style. But underneath, mental breakdowns, death, isolation, and psychological manipulation. The point is, brightness isn't comfort, it's camouflage. The tonal whiplash creates unease because your brain expects safety from the animation. Life as a game. All three operate on rules, levels, challenges, consequences, hell, and even spectators. In Danganronpa, the game is literal. In the Hollow, it's structured as trials. In the digital circus, each adventure feels like a controlled experiment. So the characters don't live, they perform. And that performance element, it's crucial. They're being observed, judged, scored, and even punished, which mirrors the modern anxieties about surveillance and social systems. The real stakes aren't physical death, they're abstraction, betrayal and despair, identity collapse. The horror is internal, and that's why they linger with you. To wrap it all up, these stories resonate similarly because they explore loss of autonomy, artificial control systems, identity instability, cheerful cruelty, and even group dynamics under stress. They aren't just about being trapped. They're about being trapped in a world that treats your humanity like it's part of the entertainment. Hey, future me here. Wanted to get this out a lot sooner, so sorry about that, because I know episode 8 comes out today. It might already be out. I'm gonna watch it and everything after this, but I wanted to get this video out and should have gotten it out sooner. So just wanted to take a sec to talk to y'all about how I think the amazing digital circus is going to end. So I want to give my first option. It's not necessarily like how I think it'll end per se. Like it's a toss up between the two. I think this is the less likely, one. But so they'll escape using like their different quirks and abilities, such as like Jax having different keys and tune space. Like he pulls stuff like off screen, like vacuums and whatnot, or again the keys, how he always has keys, so that could be pivotal to them escaping the circus. And in terms of that, right, I could see somebody kind of sacrificing themselves for the others to get out. So that's one of the things. I think that one's less likely though. In terms of everything with Gooseworks, it's seeming like they'll have to accept where they're at. So my other option would be, which I think is more likely, is that they won't be able to escape. They'll have to come to terms with living in the circus. And this makes sense to me, especially with episode 7, with Kinger's confusion on how they'd even be able to leave. Like he was lucid inside like his pillow fort. They were talking to him about Abel, and yeah, like he had no idea how that would even work. So there was that, and then there was also, which I think is like huge, to be honest, the conversation with Zoopal and Gangle, right? Where Gangle was a little saddened in terms of like getting out of the circus and everything, to be like, are we still gonna be friends after this? Like, is this even gonna be real? Where Zoopal had replied like, this is real, like we're friends and we're still gonna be friends when we get out of here, but like this was real. This was a real experience for us, So while I think like it's hopeful about their friendship, being like long lasting and everything, I think it's also implying that they have to be content with their situation. So I just wanted to say that. I didn't want to make it like a whole video because I didn't feel like it was long enough, really. I didn't have like a whole process and theories of how they're going about doing these things and everything, but I just wanted to talk about that because I could see that's how it's ending. I don't know for sure, but I could see it going down that route, like not necessarily having like a super happy ending, but it's like something to where it's like, they just gotta be content with the situation that they're in, you know? So yeah, continue on with the video if you're still watching, hopefully, to the conclusion. So yeah, that's all I have. This was my first video ever being made. I hope I wasn't too robotic-y. Hopefully I made some good points on everything. And yeah, hopefully y'all like, subscribe, and I can continue to put out some videos like this about things that I definitely want to talk about. And yeah, so I hope you'll have a good one, and thank you.